What do you know about the Jersey Devil? Let's talk about that in this video. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today we are diving into Let This One Be a Devil. This is a new miniseries collected from Dark Horse Comics via the Tiny Onion imprint that blends a lot of folklore, family drama, and horror. This was a spectacular read. I did a review for the first issue when the series originally came out, but I went back to read this all together now that it's out in a collected edition. This is written by James Tynion IV and Steve Foxe, with art by Peter Kowalski. We have colors by Brad Simpson, letters by Tom Napolitano, and covers by Gavin Fullerton. Um, and this collection, of course, gathers issues 1 through 4 that spin the legend of the Jersey Devil into something a lot more personal and unsettling. Um, let's talk about this book, though. In the early 1900s, we meet Henry Naughton, who returns to his family farm in the swampy Pine Barrens of the southern New Jersey. One night, he encounters something terrifying stalking the woods, and from there, he dives into the legend of Mother Leeds and the birth of the Jersey Devil in 1735. At the heart of this legend, this story isn't just about a monster, it's about family dynamics, the burden of legacy, and the way legends are born, and the darkness that kind of creeps within the human heart. From the outset, this collection sets a mood of a very oppressive tone, right? We have the farm, the swamp, a returning scholar who just hopes for normalcy, and then the intrusion of something monstrous and ancient. The writing team really uses that folklore of the Jersey Devil as a springboard to explore how the fear, the myth, the family trauma, all those things kind of intertwine together. I think one of the strongest aspects of how the family relationships are portrayed is the tension between Henry and his younger brother, the sense of expectation on the farm and returning home. All of this sits beside the creeping horror of the woods and the creature. The difficulty of the family dynamics, this is very much present here, and it really elevates this from just a monster story into more of a human drama. Visually, the art is perfect. Kowalski gives us a very dark, heavy shadows, a palette that reinforces gloom and dread, creatures that feel both mythic and disturbing, and environments of the marsh, the forest, the old farm buildings, like everything steeped in like this silence and threat. The legends being created here is a very, very strong angle. The way that the narrative shows how the myth grows from fear, misunderstanding, and tragedy. It doesn't just show the creature, it shows the human cost of everything that's going on, right? And the fusion of horror and folklore and family tension, I think all that really works well in these 4 issues. Now, I would say the book does slow down sometimes the pacing a little bit into more introspective moments, which I think it's cool if you're in the mood for that. Those are it's really about maintaining a good balance of that. But those things are also offset by these big reveals, the creature moments that are very strong. So overall, I think this collection really lives up to how these legends are created, and how everything kind of really coalesces into a very cool dynamic story. I like this a lot. I like the themes explored, like the creation of myths, which is something very interesting. The legacy and the family and legacy of leaving home, returning to your past, and what those family expectations can how they can make you feel, and of course how this horror is all rooted in the human emotion. Right, the creature itself is scary, but so are the human flaws around everybody, all the characters, secrets, betrayals, everything that's going on all throughout, and of course a very dark tone. So it's a really fun read leading up to like this season of Halloween. Um, this is all part of the True Weird line via Tiny Onion. So it's really fun that we're exploring cryptids and folklore in a style like this. Of course, the Legend of the Jersey Devil is a long running history from New Jersey folklore, and I think by using some of that real world legend, the book taps into both the cryptid and historical horror that I think a lot of people find very appealing. So I really like that. So I think Let This One Be a Devil really delivers a compelling mix of horror, folklore, and emotional weight. So if you're drawn to those type of stories, where the monsters are real and human failings can be just as terrifying. I think this one's going to check a lot of those boxes. The art really nails the feel and the mood, and the writing gives us characters that we care about throughout this short run. So the exploration of how hard these familial relationships are is front and center, and that gives the book this added richness, this extra layer beyond just a creature feature, right? The creature horror of everything. So if you haven't picked this up yet, I would say it's very much worth your time. So that is my review of Let This One Be a Devil, Volume 1. If you read it though, let me know, how did you feel about the way this legend was handled, about the family themes? And if you enjoyed this review, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time with more comic book coverage. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.